My name is Allyson Luna, and my business is Luna Counseling Solutions. I serve teenagers and adults and couples.
Amazing. Yeah, so you mentioned that you didn't originally plan to become a therapist. Can you share the story of how you naturally found your way into this field?
Yeah, so it wasn't a straight path to counseling. I never even considered being a counselor, but I did always have an interest in psychology. And I remember being a child and excited, like my cousins and I would say, let's have deep thoughts and like, let's talk about deep things. And so I was always like, I'd be excited to go to bed at night and think about the day and like just the whys, the hows. And so I was always into deep thinking and curiosity. And so I went to graduate school and I majored in forensic psychology because I was really interested in, crime documentaries and serial killers. And again, like the mind of a serial killer or a criminal, like what made them do this, like what was their childhood like, what led to this. So I majored in that, and then I started working in the field, and I worked at different jobs and internships like a jail, probation office, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. I was in the call center there, and I was a private investigator at one point.
Wow.
Yeah, so once I was actually in the field, though, I realized, like, this isn't just a crime documentary every once in a while. This is kind of disturbing and scary and depressing, and I realized it really didn't match what I wanted to do. I realized that supervisors would say, you need to, like, kind of toughen up. You're a little, like, soft and warm. And it's like, wait, that's me. Like, I can't just pretend to be tough, Like, I just feel like being soft and warm can be a strength. So I really just started thinking, like, how can I use my like God-given or innate strengths and ability to serve others and find a career that really aligns with me, like as a person, not try to change myself. And that's when I realized, okay, a counselor, they're very warm, like empathic listening, non-judgmental, like gentle nudges toward change. And I felt like that fit me and my like innate kind of qualities or abilities.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, then I went back to school for that.
Wow. Yeah, I love that you said that being soft and warm can be a strength, because I think a lot of people need to remember that or just hear that, because in today's world it's so easy to get caught up in I have to, hustle, I have to be hard, I have to be hardened when it comes to a lot of different things. But
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
great advice.
And I would always get like my weakness for supervisor evaluations would say like you need to work on confidence, but then once I entered the counseling field, a supervisor told me that was my strength, and I was like, wow, like I'm definitely where I'm meant to be. If that me just doing me is this confident,
Yeah,
so
I love that. That's really beautiful.
Thank you.
What inspired you to focus on creating a safe, judgment-free space for your clients?
What inspired me to do that?
Mm-hmm.
I think that, again, I felt like that was something that I could bring naturally to the room or to a person's life. Nothing ever felt like it could shock me too much. And I know I said, like, the crime cases or stories would get to me, but that's, like, on my own internally. But I felt like nothing you could say could shock me. I just felt it was really important for people to just be themselves, because it can be really lonely to just carry thoughts in your head and not tell anyone and feel ashamed. So I wanted to be that person where you could open up to and be like, oh, okay, I'm not so awful or weird.
Yeah, that's awesome. What has been one of the most rewarding moments in your career as a therapist so far, if you could think of just one?
I think the most rewarding is truly like seeing results in people where they come in and they feel energized and empowered, and they're like, I went to the grocery store by myself yesterday because I thought like, oh, what's the worst that could happen? Like seeing people actually use the skills and them seem happier and like they can go out and do anything they want, not living in fear.
Yeah.
So.
The way that I think about it, it must kind of, correct me if I'm wrong, but it must feel to you like you're watching their lives open up for them.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a beautiful thing for me to think about. I took a few psychology courses in college, and whenever we would talk about different case studies, that's always what I would go to. Like, wow, their lives have, like, just all the possibilities have expanded, have opened up, and now they get to go walk that path.
Yes. And I feel
yeah.
like in your life, like somebody in their families, they're just like, what are you scared of? Just go do it. But it's like helpful to be like, what am I scared of? Like asking
Yeah.
them, so what is it that you're scared of? Is it not finding the item you want? And once they talk, they're like, wait, there's really nothing scary about it. Some
Yeah.
random person thinks my outfit looks bad. Like I can live with that.
And sometimes it is just talking to someone who is a professional, and for some reason in people's minds, or I'm sure you know the reason, but for some reason in my mind and other people's minds that I've known, it has to be that therapist. It has to be that professional, because it's one thing for your family and friends to be
Yeah.
like, like,
Yeah.
what are you scared of? But for a professional who's educated in the topic and has read studies and gone through the schooling and has the experience, it makes the world of a difference.
Especially with teenagers. Like I could say the same
Yes.
thing as their mom, and they're like, I like what you said better. It's like, yeah.
I was definitely one of those teenagers.
Yeah, me too.
Many people are hesitant to start therapy. What would you say to someone who's on the fence about reaching out for support?
I would say to just do it. Like, I know that seems so simple and it's so hard, but I truly believe taking action, like combined with faith that it will work out, that's just a powerful combination. Like, just, not even thinking, just doing, just what's the worst that could happen? I embarrass myself. I say the wrong thing. Can you live with that? So I really would suggest just going in there, like making the call, sending the email, just doing it, and then having faith that it'll all work out.
That's great advice. How do you help clients begin to take control of their thoughts and emotions when they feel completely overwhelmed?
I love the quote, like 1 day at a time, and I even bring it down to like 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time. So if people are thinking like, what if this happens? What if this happens? Like, and tonight, tomorrow, I try to keep it in the very, the present moment. Like all we need to worry about right now is this, like this moment. Can you handle the thoughts in this moment? So I just like to break it down into smaller pieces,
Yeah.
less overwhelming.
Oh, for sure. And it gives them that almost mental step to check off. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I got through this moment. Check.
Yeah.
Now I have the next one.
And we love a to-do list.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a to-do list girl. Can you share a breakthrough moment or transformation you've witnessed in your work while maintaining confidentiality, of course? If you need more time, we can come back to it as well.
Okay, a breakthrough moment for a client.
Yeah.
I would say, and it might again seem not that big to some other people, but feeling like you can't talk to a family member about something that's bothering you. You know how anxiety, like you're keeping things in your body physically, and you have headaches and stress. And I think a breakthrough moment was probably having this person try to have an open conversation with someone in their family that they did not feel comfortable doing, and remembering that if this person gets mad at you, it is not like you didn't do anything wrong. Like they're allowed to be mad at you, and you're allowed to express your feelings. And so I remember this person, after like a few months, finally expressed something that hurt them to a family member. And actually the best case happened. The family member was sorry and maybe a little defensive, but it ended up working out. And that person realizes, hey, I can be assertive and talk to people, and just because they're mad or upset at me doesn't mean I did something wrong. So that's what comes to mind.
I think that's huge, though. Like, I don't think it should be downplayed at all in their mind, in anyone's mind, because once you do that once, I feel like you're really empowered to be able to do it again.
Yes.
And even if the outcome isn't as good, you feel more confident going into those situations. So I think that
Right.
that's really incredible. In your experience, what is the biggest misconception people have about therapy?
I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that it's either advice giving, like telling you what to do, or saying like cliche lines like, how did that feel for you? And we do say that, but it's not in like an unnatural way, or we're not just like robots. Like you actually are connecting with someone, and sometimes that's all you need is just someone to like understand you and listen to you. So I think people might think that it's more robotic and cliche.
Yeah, especially with the way that I've seen therapy portrayed in like the media and in shows and stuff. It's really just like a quick glimpse into what it could be, but a lot of times it is just kind of advice giving, or like a guy lying on one of those beds and the therapist
Yeah.
going,
Yeah.
so, yeah, thank you for sharing that misconception. You specialize in anxiety, stress, and grief. What draws you to helping people through these specific challenges?
So with grief, I think it brings me back to, again, when I was a child, having deep thoughts and meaningful thoughts. Like, what is the point of life? Like, what are we all doing here? And I feel like I bring that into grief. I kind of just naturally found that as well, like being with people during their most vulnerable and sad moments, and being able to like sit with people through that, and then coming out of it to somehow making meaning of someone's loss. Like, not saying it happened for a reason, but how can we use this loss to make meaning in your life, to give back to other people? So I really found that to be rewarding. And
Yeah.
and anxiety and stress, I feel like everybody deals with that. It's been so rewarding to see people realize that, yeah, life is scary, but you can handle it. Like, you've already lived your most anxious days so far, and just kind of helping people like push them to do a little bit more than they think they can.
I love that. You've already lived your most anxious days so far. I think that's something I need to remind
I
myself.
know, same.
That's great. How do cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, come into play in your sessions?
So CBT I love because it's your thoughts impact your feelings, impact your behaviors. So I like helping people catch their thoughts, like the automatic quick thoughts. Oh, what do they think of me or something? And being able to be like, wait, I don't need to think like that. Let me reframe it. They might think something of me and I can handle that. So I like using practical tools for CBT. And then for ACT acceptance, that's probably my favorite. Just, I feel like we're always like fighting things like, but what if, and just, okay, like I accept that this will happen. I might not like it, but again, I can get through it. So yeah, I just think that acceptance is great because you can kind of like relax. Like, I don't need to fight everything or figure everything out. Just let it happen.
Yeah, and it's building that trust within yourself. I kind of feel like that allows you to, again, trust that, this what if can happen, this what if can happen, but I trust that I have the tools in my toolbox
Yeah.
because of therapy, because of clinicians like you. I trust that I can get through it. So I think that's very powerful. What is the feeling or experience you want every client to have when they work with you?
I would say accepted and not judged. Because I just, again, feel like it's so important to feel like you're not alone. Like, even if you have these thoughts, these feelings, the shame, like you can still talk to somebody and not carry that with you for the rest of your life by yourself. Because I feel like that's what leads to depression. So just being able to be like, I can tell Allyson something and I know she's not going to like negatively judge me, but just help me or give me self-compassion. Like, nobody's perfect, and how to move forward versus, staying stuck in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. Your practice offers group therapy sessions, including for grief and anxiety. Why do you think group work specifically can be so powerful?
So I think group work, again, it's just not feeling alone, like you're going through something alone. And with grief, those groups are really hard to fill because people want to kind of be alone in their grief. And then they get to a point where they're like, is anyone else like going through this? Has anyone else lost like a mother that's so young, or, like the non-traditional like a stage of life, like a non-traditional way of losing someone. And I think it's just helpful to have someone else who knows maybe how you're feeling, and not exactly, but similar.
Yeah, absolutely. How do your personal values shape the way you show up for your clients and run your practice?
So one of my personal values that I bring to my practice is, I think, service. Because again, whenever I wanted to figure out, okay, what do I really want to do with my innate skills? How can I do that? Use those to serve others. So I've always tried to bring that to my practice. Like, how can I serve others? It's all about the client, not my agendas, not what I think they should do. So it's all about just focusing on what I could bring to help someone else's life. And I feel like young people right now, and if they're in college, they don't know what they want to do and they're lost. And I always say, let's explore your innate abilities and what qualities you have. Or because when you're yourself and you feel like you're doing a good job, you're confident, and then you can do better work. And like someone's like, I'm really good at math. And then you're like, okay, well, what is that? Solving problems, finding solutions. What other careers could you do with those skills? You know?
Yeah. Well, that's really cool that you kind of talk like college kids through that, because I wish someone would have talked to me about that in college or when I was looking into colleges, because yeah, there's just so many things, so many paths that you feel like you have to follow, and coming back to yourself and thinking about even what you said at the beginning, like your strengths as a child, talking to your friends about things, and then what you'd find yourself thinking about when you would lie down to go to sleep at night. I think you said you were so excited to like think about the day, but then also think about kind of the meaning of everything. I think we could all come back to kind of our innate strengths.
Yeah.
And find ourselves in the best jobs and the best positions because of that. So
Right.
that's
And
a
we don't
great
have
reminder.
to. Yeah. And I know in college they want you to pick a major, and you don't have any experience yet. So how do you know what you like? But I think if you follow something you're passionate about or that you feel like aligned with, then eventually you find your way to like the career that is best for you.
Yeah. Amazing. All right. You offer a Christian focus if clients want it. How do you balance tailoring therapy to meet each person's unique background and needs?
Well, I definitely make sure to ask, like during the intake, like, are you spiritual or religious? Is that something you'd want to incorporate into therapy? And if they say no, then of course I wouldn't do that. It's again about the client. But if they do, then I get excited about that, because I think bringing in spirituality and again, not seeing ourselves as the world sees us, but maybe as God sees us, or whoever you believe in sees you. That there's more to just this worldly things. You know, it's deeper than that. And
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. If someone listening today is in a difficult season of life, what is the one piece of encouragement or advice you would want them to hear?
I've heard this quote, and it's always stuck with me, but you can do hard things.
I love that quote.
Yes. It's like, wait, this doesn't have to be easy for me to do it. Like, it can be hard. I can be uncomfortable. And yes, it may be awful, but I can get through it. And I think taking action is too. If you can do one piece of action and not just sit and be stuck in your thoughts, you know, if you're worried about something, like, what can I do to make myself a little less worried? Can I go to the doctor, like make an appointment instead of worrying about my health? How about I just make the appointment? Again, it's going to be scary, but it's harder to not know and sit in your thoughts than to know, I think.
I definitely agree. And I think when you almost feel paralyzed from taking that first step, you just get more anxious because it's kind of building up towards that. And then it's even harder to make that first move or that first step. So
yeah, the avoidance.
Agree. Yeah.
I'm not saying it's easy again.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, thank you so much for that. Is there anything else that I didn't touch on that you wanted to share with us today?
I don't think so. I guess I did just want to say, again, for people that are scared to like make a move in life with a career, or maybe leave a corporate job to go off on your own, or take just a non-conventional job. Like, I really feel if you combine faith and action and having practical steps lined up, but also the mindset, like, this will work out, like this, because it has to, that I think that people can, again, do more than they think they can.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that advice. I will be replaying that in my mind as well.
Thank you.
It's really, really awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming in and making the time to talk to us today about your journey and Luna Counseling Solutions. It's been such a fascinating, informative conversation.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course.